Some franchises have a strong hold on our childhood nostalgia, and for the same reason, they just refuse to stay down. Power Rangers is one of those. It's undergone numerous evolutions since its debut in the 90s, from spandex-clad martial arts battles to big-screen reimaginings, and yet it's always been a little uneven in keeping the spark alive. We've seen its highs and we've seen its lows, and the wait is still not over for a new high. With this expectation, the franchise is also set for a reboot. Let's dive straight into how we got here and what's in the works. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Go, go, Power Rangers!
Origins. Why the Power Rangers need a reboot. Once upon a time, the Power Rangers was all the rage. Cosplays taking over, merch flying off the shelves, but sometimes, some things just get a bit stale with time. That's what happened to Power Rangers as well. This franchise, which exploded onto the scene in the 1990s, was built on a brilliant formula of martial arts teens, giant robots, aliens, flashy suits, and more. But over time, ratings dipped and audiences shifted. The franchise tried to lift itself up with new seasons like Beast Morphers, Dino Fury, and Cosmic Fury. However, even with all that, the spark didn't exactly shine as bright as it once did. But after a long gap, something huge finally happened to the franchise in 2018. Hasbro purchased it from Saban for $522 million, as the company saw it as an opportunity to revive the franchise and pull it all together in a tight global strategy. Initially, Hasbro started to build on the existing continuity of the universe with Cosmic Fury as the final chapter. They didn't just stop there. Hasbro had actually teased a brand new reboot with Netflix, but the real question is, why did Power Rangers even need a reboot in the first place? Well, the formula that crushed it back in the 90s just started feeling way too predictable over time. Ratings dipped, fans moved on, and honestly, the kids who grew up with it, yeah, they'd aged out. But Hasbro wasn't ready to let it die. They knew the brand was still huge and packed with nostalgia. All it needed was a proper makeover, fresh stories, a modern vibe, something that could pull in new viewers while still giving older fans those nostalgic goosebumps. Basically, wipe the slate clean and reintroduce the Rangers for today's generation. The problem was that the Netflix deal didn't last. The whole thing ended up getting scrapped before it even got off the ground.
Is your time.
Cancelled Netflix universe and shift to Disney+. Yeah, so Netflix was indeed supposed to be the next big home for the shiny new Power Rangers universe. An official announcement to develop this universe was made, and Jonathan Entwistle, the creator of The End of the World, was signed on as the executive producer. Jenny Klein was also brought in to run the show, and as you know, Hollywood loves to dream big. So this project was ambitious, almost Star Wars level ambitious, in Entwistle's own words. But of course, things didn't go as planned. By mid-2024, on June 11 to be precise, the whole thing just stalled. The project was officially declared dead when Netflix dropped out. This sparked the question of whether it was Netflix that broke up with the franchise. Initially, that might have been true since Hasbro did start to look for a new partner in creative direction. However, at the end of 2024, Hasbro declared that it would not be financing any television project or film since it had experienced some recent flops, which had negatively impacted its IP. Fans were concerned for a while as they speculated over the uncertain future of the reboot. Here comes the good news. In 2025, the reboot was finally announced in partnership with Disney+. In March, Hasbro announced a new live-action series in development with Disney+, produced by 20th Television. And instead of Entwistle, the creative reins had shifted to the team behind Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Jonathan E. Steinberg and Dan Schatz. Filming is set to kick off in January 2026 in London. That's a whole new look and direction, so different from the daily grind of the New Zealand shoots. According to Hasbro, Disney Plus brings a bigger platform, a nostalgic connection since Disney owned Rangers once before, and solid showrunners behind it.
And action!
Production timeline, where the reboot stands now. Now let's get into what actually happened behind the scenes of the Power Rangers reboot, and where it stands now. When the project was initially taken up by Netflix, there was one hurdle after another. The production delays were very real, especially as COVID hit. Even the reshuffling within the studio threw a wrench into the early plans. We do have some real hints at the scrapped Netflix attempt. Showrunner Jonathan Entwistle once teased a time-bending saga centered on Tommy Oliver, packed with multiverse energy and even Lord Drakon. Serious big mythology stuff. And Jenny Klein's idea of sentient colors. That would have been a wild, mystical reboot. Too bad it never got made. Fast forward to March 2025, Hasbro finally landed a fresh deal with Disney+, and the shooting is all set to start in 2026. But this time away from the longtime home of the franchise in New Zealand, to London, with a fresh new perspective. Fans have spotted entries in Production Weekly listing the London shoot, and that sparked a wave of coverage. This announcement of the commencement of the shooting was extremely important to the fans, since the messy history of the reboot had made the fans underconfident. On the bright side, Power Rangers did make it to the list of Production Weekly, suggesting that it is in fact in development. Moreover, with only 5 months left until shooting, which seems like a short time, fans speculate that development might have been in talks for a long time before it was announced. 20th Television and Quaker Moving Pictures are going to be a part of this reboot. This project is also likely to be a series, not a movie, featuring 5 Power Rangers. There's been no further news regarding casting, costume, or story, but they're likely to come out soon.
That adrenaline push that Power Rangers gives you is in this movie tenfold.
Plot, tone, and casting rumors. Like we mentioned, there hasn't been any official news of the plot, tone, or casting about the reboot, but this hasn't stopped the fandom from speculating. First up, plot and tone. Every outlet keeps using the word reinvention, not just a retread of the old Mighty Morphin story. Since the reboot is being carried forward by the same people and company who ran the Percy Jackson live action, it's safe to assume that the tone and vibe of the Power Rangers reboot will follow suit. Adventurous, heartfelt, and maybe rich in mythology with a modern twist. But what about echoes of the original? Nothing is set in stone yet. At least one rumor suggests Disney might finally break free from adapting Super Sentai footage, which would be a historic first for the franchise, and go fully original with suits, villains, and Zords. Some chatter on Reddit suggests an origin that nods to youth and nostalgia, but rebuilds the team from scratch, for both new viewers and longtime fans. As for casting rumors, there's slim to nothing official yet. No names are circulating as confirmed Rangers or returning alumni. Fans are hopeful for a mix of fresh faces and perhaps 1 or 2 cameos, especially those with ties to the classic team.
Dude, I'm a Power Ranger, this is amazing!
What about the 2017 movie? Lessons learned. Let's take a step back now, go back to where it all ended, and a quick trip back to 2017. It was the last time that the Power Rangers franchise tried to morph big with the Lionsgate reboot. It was flashy, no doubt, with 5 teens, magical coins, and Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. But it couldn't become the big hit it was supposed to be. It didn't completely tank, though. Critics gave mixed reviews, and even fans warmed up to it. It also had Dacre Montgomery, Naomi Scott, and R.J. Cyler, actors who all brought a surprising amount of heart to characters fans already knew. Still, at the box office, it fell short. Against a $100 million plus budget, it only grossed around $142 million worldwide. In Hollywood math, that's definitely a flop. Plus, the earnings barely covered the costs, definitely not enough to launch the 6-movie universe Lionsgate had dreamed up. But there were some positives and negatives of the film that the new reboot can surely take lessons from. People love the small-town setting, the group dynamics, and the slightly cheesy heart-to-heart moments. That's very Power Rangers, and when the movie leaned into that, it worked. You had storylines about bullying, family struggles, even identity that gave the movie more emotional weight than anyone expected. Second, design and tone matter too. A lot of fans weren't sold on the glossy Iron Man-style suits, the over-designed Zords, or the CGI-heavy final battle. It felt too busy, too dark, and not in line with what makes Rangers fun. One of the biggest complaints was how long it took for the Rangers to actually suit up. You spend nearly 2/3 of the movie in teen drama mode, and by the time the iconic morphing happens, a lot of fans feel like the action comes too late. If the new reboot handles the balance carefully, it might get the success it craves.
Mother's good. Mother's good.
Release plans, fan expectations, and what happens next. We know filming is locked in for January 2026 in London, that's official. Given typical production timelines, the earliest we could reasonably expect the show to debut is early 2027. That timing comes from tracking how filming usually wraps and heads into post-production before release. However, one thing is for sure, we won't be getting a sneak peek anytime soon. There are whispers that Hasbro might be eyeing a theatrical reboot for late 2026. A blog called Comic Book Movie dropped that possibility, but take it with a grain of salt. This reboot might not just be limited to streaming as well. Hasbro has a global toy deal with Playmates Toys kicking off in 2025, meaning new Power Rangers toys, especially with a nostalgic Mighty Morphin slant, are already on the way. So we can expect some reimagined action figures and Zords, even some roleplay gear. Fans are hyped as expected, but cautiously this time. They're simply waiting for early footage, which could set their expectations for the style and tone of the reboot. Another long-awaited aspect of this reboot is the cast of the series and what Rangers they might see on screen.
Any other questions?
Are we more like Iron Man or Spider-Man?
Marvelous verdict. Looking back, we can confirm one thing. Power Rangers has never lacked heart. It has just struggled to balance nostalgia with modern storytelling. If anything, the 2017 movie, despite being a box office blunder, proved there's an appetite for bold new takes. And now, with the filming set for 2026 and Disney Plus stepping in, the stage feels more stable than it has in years. Will it live up to the decades of expectations? That's the question only time can answer. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone!